Yes. So what we're saying here is, if you want to keep the dark alive and let it live in your life, then you're going to feed it often. And it's going to love it. And the problem is, our society teaches us to feed it, and our society has raised us with a collective consciousness that supports the low frequency, which in turn makes it very familiar to us. And humans tend to go to what's familiar, whether it feels good or not. If it's familiar, we'll go to it every time over something that's scary and unknown. And this is the biggest step in the healing process. In the healing process, when you are, let's say you start here and you're aiming for up here. So you start here, you start learning that you've got to let go of this stored emotion and clear your energy field and start seeing things differently, and you're trying to unlearn everything you've already been taught, basically, in a nutshell. So you're going along here and you're doing that work and you're starting to see things differently, and you're starting to think about being more positive if you haven't been that type of person, which they're few and far between, but there are some of you that's been able to hold that very strongly. When you reach a certain point, you have to start realizing what your gifts are and understanding them so that you use them to your advantage, not your disadvantage. What happens at this point, is you come to this point where you realize that you can't bring everyone along with you. Everything's going to change. You're not going to have the same friends. Everything in your life's going to change. It is at this point where you have to make a decision. And there's several decisions you make. One of the biggest ones is, I'm in charge of my life and no one else is going to come rescue me. This is up to me. This is my life. What am I going to do with it? I'm totally 100% responsible for what goes on in it. That's probably the scariest one of all. The second one is that you have to leave some people behind because you can't bring them all with you. I wanted to bring all my family. I wanted to bring my friends. I wanted to bring my boyfriend. I wanted to bring everybody with me. Almost all of them had to go because they didn't want to. That wasn't their path. You cannot control everyone else's life, and that's where we get into letting go of control, expectations, judgments, and what's the other one? Resistance. Those four are something you will work on this entire path. But the way to get over fear is, as we have suggested before, is do something different every day. Do something